My name is Olivia Carter. I'm 30 years old, and 3 years ago, I weighed 100 kilograms. I cried in secret, avoided mirrors, and believed my life would never change. Everyone judged my body except one person. My husband never stopped believing in me. Today, I'm sitting in this gym to tell you how his love helped me find myself again.
Right now, I'm sitting on a bench in the same gym that completely changed my life. Every treadmill, every dumbbell,
every mirror in this room reminds me of the woman I used to be. 3 years ago, I never imagined I would walk into a gym.
In fact, I was terrified of places like this. Not because I hated exercise, but because I believed everyone would look at me and judge me. There was a time when fitness was my entire world. Before I got married, I weighed only 45 kilograms. I loved morning runs, I planned my meals carefully. Working out wasn't a chore, it was something that made me feel alive. My friends always joked that I had endless energy. Life felt simple. Then I got married.
At first, everything was beautiful. New home, new responsibilities, a new chapter with the man I loved. Slowly, my routine disappeared. Morning workouts became maybe tomorrow. Healthy meals turned into quick takeout dinners. Late night snacks became a habit. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. Every time I promised myself I would start again, something always got in the way. One morning, I stepped onto a scale. I stared at the number, 100 kilograms. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That was the day my life changed. I stood there in complete silence. My heart sank and tears filled my eyes. I didn't recognize the woman staring back at me anymore. I kept asking myself, how did I let this happen? For the first time in years, I felt truly lost. I thought everyone else had already given up on me. And slowly, I had started giving up on myself too. But I had no idea that the hardest chapter of my life was only just beginning. The jokes became louder. The whispers became impossible to ignore. Family gatherings, birthdays, even simple dinners, someone always had a comment about my weight. Every smile I forced hid another broken piece of my confidence. I stopped taking pictures. I stopped going out. Eventually, I stopped recognizing the person I had become. Then one evening, I came home after another difficult day and found my husband sitting quietly in the living room. He looked at me and immediately knew something was wrong. I tried to smile and said, "I'm fine," but he didn't believe me. "Olivia, you don't have to pretend with me. I love you exactly as you are.
And if you're unhappy with your health, I'll be right beside you while you work on it." I looked at him, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel judged. I felt understood.
That night, something inside me changed. I realized I didn't need someone to tell me that I wasn't good enough. I needed someone to remind me that I was worth fighting for. And my husband had just done exactly that. The next morning, I stood in front of the mirror for a long time. For once, I didn't focus on the number on the scale or the things people had said about me. I asked myself one simple question: what do I want for my life? The answer came quickly. I wanted to feel healthy again. I wanted my energy back. I wanted to enjoy movement instead of fearing it. So I made a decision. I was going back to the gym, not to prove anything to the people who had judged me, not to become someone else. I was doing it for myself. The first day I walked back into the gym, I was nervous. I stood near the entrance for a moment, watching people move from one machine to another. And a small voice inside me said, "You don't belong here anymore." But then I remembered my husband's words. I took a deep breath and walked inside. I didn't try to do everything at once. I started slowly. One step, one exercise, one day at a time. And for the first time in years, I wasn't trying to change my life overnight. I was simply trying to change one day. The first few weeks were harder than I expected. Some mornings I woke up tired and wanted to stay in bed. Some days I felt like I wasn't making any progress at all. But my husband kept encouraging me. Whenever I felt discouraged, he reminded me, "You don't have to be perfect, just keep going." So I kept showing up. Little by little, exercise became part of my routine again. I started feeling stronger, more energetic, and more confident. For the first time in a long time, I began looking forward to my mornings. Then something unexpected happened. One morning, I looked in the mirror and realized I wasn't thinking about what other people thought of me anymore. I was thinking about how far I had come. The scale was no longer the only thing that mattered to me. I noticed that I could walk longer, exercise more comfortably, and wake up with more energy. My husband noticed the change too. One morning, he smiled and said, "Olivia, I haven't seen you this happy in a long time." Those words meant more to me than any number on a scale, because I finally understood something. Real change wasn't just about losing weight. It was about finding myself again. But my journey wasn't finished yet. I had learned how to take care of myself again, but I also had to learn how to protect my confidence. The comments from people around me didn't disappear overnight. What changed was the way I responded to them. And slowly, I became proud of the woman I was becoming. My husband had supported me when I couldn't see that woman myself. Now, I was finally learning to see her too. Looking back now, I realized my husband didn't change my life for me. He simply reminded me that I still had the strength to change it myself. There were difficult mornings, disappointing days, and moments when I wanted to quit. But every time I kept going, I proved something to myself. I wasn't trying to become the woman I used to be. I was becoming a stronger version of who I am today. Today, when I sit here and think about everything that happened, I don't feel ashamed of my past anymore. That woman was struggling, but she was never worthless. I learned that taking care of yourself isn't about chasing perfection. It's about making small choices that help you feel better, one day at a time. And the most important lesson I learned was that real support doesn't make the journey for you. It gives you the courage to keep walking when the road feels difficult.
And today, I don't look at my journey as something I need to hide. I look at it as proof that people can struggle, fall behind, and still find their way forward.
My husband stood beside me through the moments when I doubted myself. But I was the one who chose to take that first step. And every step after that taught me something new about patience, confidence, and self-respect. If there is one thing I want you to remember from my story, it's this. You don't have to change everything in one day. Sometimes one small decision is enough to begin a completely different chapter of your life. When I think about the woman who once stood alone in front of that scale, I wish I could go back and tell her one thing. She didn't need to hate herself to become healthier. She didn't need to listen to every cruel comment. She simply needed to believe that her future was still worth caring about. And today, sitting here in the same gym where I once felt afraid to walk through the door, I know that choosing yourself isn't selfish. Sometimes it's the beginning of everything. I still have days when life gets busy and my routine isn't perfect. But now, I don't see one difficult day as a reason to give up. I simply begin again the next morning. My husband still reminds me to be patient with myself, and I remind him how much his support meant during the hardest part of my journey. We both learned something from those years. Change becomes easier when you stop fighting against yourself and start working with yourself. And that's the lesson I carry with me every time I walk through these gym doors. 3 years ago, I thought losing myself was the end of my story. Today, I know it was only the beginning of a new one. I learned to take care of my health without being cruel to myself. I learned that my husband's love was never about changing me. It was about reminding me that I deserved support while I changed my life. And most importantly, I learned to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Sometimes you just have to take that first step and trust yourself enough to take the next one. If you're listening to my story and wondering whether it's too late for you, I want you to remember this. Your starting point doesn't decide where your story ends. You can begin with one healthy choice, one positive decision, or simply one moment where you choose not to give up on yourself. I can't promise that every day will be easy, but I can tell you that every small step forward is still a step forward.
And sometimes that is how a completely different life begins.
Today, I don't see my past as something that defeated me. I see it as the chapter that taught me how strong I could become. And when I look at my husband sitting beside me, I realize that sometimes the greatest gift someone can give you is simply believing in you when you struggle to believe in yourself. So if you're standing at the beginning of your own journey, don't wait until you feel completely ready.
Start where you are, be patient with yourself, and give yourself permission to become someone you're proud of.
And if my story has taught me anything, it's that you are never defined by your hardest. You are defined by what you choose to do after it. For me, that choice was simple. Keep moving forward, keep caring for myself, and never forget the person who believed in me when I needed it most. And this is not the story of how I became someone else. It's the story of how I finally found my way back to myself. If you are going through a difficult season right now, be gentle with yourself. You don't need to have every answer today. Just focus on the next small step and remember that progress can begin quietly. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is simply refuse to give up on yourself. And wherever your journey takes you, I hope you remember that your story is still being written.
Looking back, I realized the biggest change wasn't something I could measure. It was the way I began to speak to myself.
I stopped seeing myself through the eyes of people who had judged me, and I started seeing myself with patience and kindness. My journey is still continuing, and I know there will be difficult days ahead. But now I know something I didn't know before. I am capable of starting again. And sometimes starting again is the most powerful choice we can make. If Olivia's story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt stories. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.